special day for us in so many ways, not just for HEFA International, but actually for Africa in itself, because what we're doing here is not just about us running programs. It's about transforming the agricultural landscape in Africa. And we're really excited to share the work that we're doing in this space with you. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead now and welcome the Senior Vice President for HEFA International Africa Programs, Adesua Ifedi, to welcome us and give her opening remarks. Please welcome her to stage.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I want to welcome our esteemed colleagues from the media. Thank you for taking our time to join us. I want to welcome our colleagues also from across the globe. Some of you arrived last night, some of you have been here, our amazing leadership team in the continent, and of course our great partners, Hello Tractor. I think it's an exciting opportunity to be here today. This is 3 years after we started a journey to uncover technology that will support agriculture in Africa. As some of you may know, HEFA has been in the continent now for 50 years, correct, team? And in those 50 years, we've seen the importance of not handing out things to people, but supporting them and working side by side with them to build a life that they would want to live for themselves. We've worked across the agricultural landscape. We've supported smallholder farmers with capacity building. We've spent enough time in those communities to understand the challenge of pulling yourself out of poverty. We've understood that agriculture, with all of the benefits that it provides for not the farmers alone, but the continent, still has a lot of challenges when it comes to our continent, Africa. Today, Africa has the least penetration of tractors in the world, and we do know that as we move towards a global organization that is very concerned about over mechanization, we really are talking about a continent that has about 15 tractors per hectare compared to 200 tractors per hectare in the rest of the world. When you see that Africa has the largest arable land that is yet even cultivated yet, so we could actually feed the world, and then add the fact that we are import dependent, and we cannot feed ourselves. And across every value chain, we depend on importation. The smallholder farmers whose farms are very small hectares for each of them are the ones that shoulder the burden to feed our continent. 70% of our food is still coming from smallholder farmers. And these smallholder farmers are the poorest in our continent. It's amazing that we've allowed the agricultural sector and these very delicate indicators to remain the way they have for as long as they have. Working with farmers at the last mile, we now realize that it's not just going to take the smallholder farmers' determination, their commitment, or their skills to transform agriculture. That is going to take a collaboration and a focus on innovative investment, not just to shift what is happening in their community, but to shift what is happening in the ecosystem, to ensure that every aspect of what is required to come together to drive agriculture in Africa can happen. As we launched in 2020, the Agritech competition, our focus was clear. We were seeking innovators who had also been committed to agriculture as we are, but have been able to come up with viable solutions that are solving all of these challenges that we've seen in the last mile working with farmers. And as we continued to uncover innovators through the Agritech competition, we began to realize that collaboration, partnership, and unique investment is what's the transformation that we're looking for. These partnerships, we believe, is between the private sector, the public sector, the innovators, and the financing sector. And as we began to explore with the winners of Agritech, we got a lot of learning, and some of that you are going to be seeing in the tractor report today. Emerging from our first competition was Hello Tractor. And as we went through their journey with them, we began to make the connections in the dots with the productivity of smallholder farmers, the increase in their income, and the lack of penetration of tractorization in the continent. Our colleagues today are going to give us more details on that as they make their speeches, and my team also from the different countries where we've launched this will also share their story. But I think that for us, we're beginning to learn that we as Heifer have had our strengths, and our strength is our passion to support smallholder farmers to close the living income gap. We also realize that there are many other parties and partners in the communities where we work who also have their strengths. And as we move forward, we consistently want to build partnerships that are local, rethink how finance can no longer stand aloof, far away from the investment that it's making, but can humble itself and come close to its investment. Become a partner in transformation, not just an investor in a specific idea and waiting for a return on investment. So I thank you all for being here today. We're really excited to launch this tractor report, and we look forward to an exciting conversation with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Adesua. I think it's really interesting the possibilities that are out there when you bring innovation to the room. Now imagine combining that with the power, the vibrancy of youth. There is so much potential. And I'm really excited about the fact that, especially here in Africa, there is so much that we can be doing with our youth population. And I love the fact, when I joined Heifer, one of the things that excited me so much about the work that was going on here is the work that we're doing with youth and innovation. And at this point, I'm pleased to welcome our Youth and Innovation Lead for the Africa programs at Heifer International, so that he can share more insights about the work we're doing. So please join me in welcoming Dayo Aduroja.
Thank you, Mozala. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, isn't it a great time to be a smallholder farmer in Africa? Isn't it a great time to be a young person in Africa? We're seeing that tremendous opportunities are out there for financial growth, financial prosperity, for smallholder farmers and young Africans, with organizations like Hello Tractor changing the game, leveraging technology to address challenges faced by smallholder farmers and, of course, provide jobs for young people. Now, we see that African poverty is driven by unemployment, specifically youth unemployment, and agriculture is robust enough with the economic potential to absorb these young people and provide meaningful jobs. But young people are not interested in agriculture. But we know that young people are incredibly interested in technology. So at Heifer Africa, we are showing that when technology is integrated into agriculture, it becomes a magnet to attract young people to innovate in magical ways that creates jobs for young people. And that in itself triggers a chain reaction that attracts and that crowds in more young people who are inspired by the successes of agribusinesses like Hello Tractor, who are changing the dynamics for the continent. And all of this great work is taking place through what Adesua had mentioned, our UT platform, a Heifer initiative. And the partnership between Hello Tractor and Heifer International was birthed through the IUT initiative, as it was mentioned. But what is IUT? IUT is an acronym for Agriculture, Youth, and Technology, because we believe that this combination is transformative for the continent. Yeah? And we are seeking out and validating compelling agtech businesses like Hello Tractor that are ready to go to scale and providing the financial and technical support that they need to actually get to scale and support millions of farmers on the continent and create jobs. But IUT has evolved beyond just financial and technical support. IUT is becoming a catalyst for systemic change in Africa. IUT is becoming a movement for young people in Africa. IUT is forging pathways for Africa's transformation. Agritech is facilitating ecosystem strengthening. And speaking about ecosystems, it is a critical term, and it was used quite a couple of times in the report when you go through it. And why is that? It is because service delivery to the smallholder farmers that we work with requires a complex interplay of roles and actors. I'll give you an example. Hello Tractor's business model is contingent, or the commercial viability of the business model is contingent on the availability of genuine spare parts when tractor break down. It's contingent on the availability and proximity of technical expertise for service repair and maintenance of tractors. It's contingent on enterprise development to ensure that tractor support service is profitable. Is contingent on external financing for tractor services. And when we talk of external financing, Agritech has done a great job in terms of catalyzing external financing from financiers and investors who are incentivized by HEFA's initiative to take first investment risk in these ag businesses like Hello Tractor. So we are seeing a lot of work going on there. But beyond that, Agritech has also deployed mechanisms that ensure that these investments are utilized in a revolving manner, right? Such that beneficiaries are able to benefit from the investment, attain some social impact, and pass on the investment to new beneficiaries, okay, in a manner that is growing and multiplying. Yeah. So we've seen that ecosystem development and strengthening is important, and it is critical to scaling tractorization in Africa. So for us, the big piece around ecosystem partnering is great, and we do this in a collaborative and coordinated manner by disaggregating that complex interplay of actors, as well as eliminating blockages, systemic blockages, such that we can ensure the commercial sustainability of the actors. Because really, this system will only work if the actors are making money and if our farmers are getting served, right? So in all of it, and in conclusion, it's been an evolving journey of discovery with Hello Tractor. And today, we are immensely proud of the achievements of this partnership in supporting Agritech's transformative agenda on the continent of Africa. So thank you very much.
Agriculture and technology, the combination, isn't it? But you know, they say that a picture speaks louder than 1,000 words. So how about a video? So now we're going to a video that shares a bit more about the report, the mechanization, the results, and some of the learnings from the project. So please go ahead and watch on this side of the screen. Thank you.
According to Africa Development Bank, Africa spends $75 billion annually to import 100 metric tons of food into the continent. And this set in the context of a continent that is able to feed 9 billion people, given the fact that it has the world's largest arable land. With all that in mind, smallholder farmers still remain the largest producers of Africa's food today. And that means that the importance of supporting these smallholder farmers to improve their productivity in order to address this issue of food sufficiency for the continent is critical. In the last 49 years, HEFA has worked side by side with smallholder farmers across the continent, supporting to improve their capacity so that they can increase their productivity. In 2021, we launched the Agritech Challenge, and this challenge is a vehicle to crowd in innovators across the continent to come in and support in building the capacity of smallholder farmers and helping to improve their productivity. One of the first winners of this competition is Hello Tractor. Hello Tractor is an innovative model that supports farmers to be able to have access to affordable and available tractor service within their community and also at a price point that these farmers can afford to pay for.
Capital can unlock the opportunity within the sector, but commercial banks aren't lending. And so we came into the market with a different hypothesis. And that's when we launched the pay-as-you-go tractor finance product supported by Heifer International. This product identifies community-based booking agents who have pre-identified and pre-booked enough farmers in the Hello Tractor app to actually absorb an entire tractor themselves. We identify those booking agents, finance the right equipment for them to now become tractor owners themselves, servicing the farmers in their network directly. And as they service that demand, they're making small loan repayments based on the usage of the tractor. So it's a pay-as-you-go model.
We really believe that this innovation is one innovation that has come to the continent at the right time, because Africa today has the lowest productivity per hectare as well as the lowest penetration of tractors per hectare. And we believe that supporting this innovation to integrate and serve smallholder farmers across the continent will certainly impact on productivity and food sufficiency for the continent. With an initial grant of $1 million, Heifer and Hello Tractor were able to co-design a pay-as-you-go tractor financing program. A subsequent investment of $3.5 million extended the impact of this program to reach more smallholder farmers in Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda. This report today highlights the details of the impact of this program.
Farmers often spend a lot of time cultivating their lands, which is very manual. So a lot of the time is spent on cultivating, tilling, and also in when they are harvesting. And it's very manual, labor intensive, and takes a lot of time. And we do know that mechanization provides an opportunity to be able to free those farmers, even in terms of the lifespan. And so looking at these tractors for Africa, we believe in working within the community by providing the community with an opportunity to own this mechanized asset that then they can be able to use within the community to mechanize and then free a lot of the time that they are spending. But also it is more efficient and effective and affordable, but at the same time creating job opportunities for the youth and other people within the community.
So far, in 1 year of execution of that project, we've been able to enable smallholder farmers get access to 16 tractors. Over 80,000 hectares of land have been opened up. And that then indicates that more food is going to be produced that can enable the population of Uganda to be fed. But most important of all, to enable the farmers who are under production to make money so that they can be able to close the living income gap. So we are very much excited being part of this project because we think that it's changing the way agriculture is being undertaken in the country. It's encouraging and pulling young people to get interested in farming because we need to drive young people within the ag sector. And the best way to drive young people within the ag sector is by enabling them to have tools of work that can simplify the work that they do. And tractorization of farming is one of that process.
Rice is one of the priority value chains for the government of Nigeria. We're trying to improve and increase in the production of rice in the country to be able to feed ourselves. So increasing local production of rice will create a lot of job opportunities for the smallholder farmers that are growing the rice and other actors and players within the value chain. So tractor in Nigeria that have been introduced to the smallholder farmers enable these farmers now to be able to cultivate that same amount of land 40 times faster than using manual labor. And also they've been experiencing yield that range up to 50% increase in yield of what they're getting from the same amount of land. And also having access to tractor also has enabled more women to be able to participate and be more inclusive in that rice value chain production.
Beyond the impact discussed in this report so far, the project also sought to prove that innovative grants can be used to unlock commercial capital to address problems that are at scale and also impact smallholder farmers' capacity to improve their productivity. Through this partnership, Heifer and Hello Tractor have been able to design a project that allowed us to test out the use case for pay-as-you-go tractor financing model. And subsequently, the project was also successful to unlock commercial capital from other partners.
The partnership with Hello Tractor and Heifer was the first of its kind, where we're injecting capital at the base of the pyramid, financing entrepreneurs who are traditionally unbanked to become tractor owners. And Heifer invested in that idea. This investment started with $5 million deployed in the first 6 months. This capital was proven to be very well spent, with less than 3% delinquencies in our portfolio and almost every single tractor on that platform servicing smallholder farmers. This success has unlocked commercial capital. And now, for the first time, we have numerous commercial banks financing our customers in the next round of financing. By the end of the year, we'll be at $17 million in deployments. That's a lot of growth, taking a bet on entrepreneurs that the broader market forgot about. And the partnership between Hello Tractor and Heifer made it happen.
It's exciting to see the impact of this program after the first 3 years. When we began this program, we had asked ourselves, what will 50,000 tractors do for smallholder farmers and their communities in Africa? And from the results of the first 3 years of implementation, it is clear that bringing together the right innovation that fits the right challenge, supported by innovative financing, can certainly transform the lives of smallholder farmers whilst also creating relevant jobs for youth in those communities where they live and work. We see part of the learnings from this project to be the highlight of the fact that not only do smallholder farmers need innovation around accessing funds, but innovators themselves, who we hope will solve the problem for smallholder farmers in our continent, also need to be supported with innovative financing to test out different models that might not necessarily fit with how we've solved problems in the past, but are obviously the solutions we need today to make a difference in our continent, to change the dynamics of the numbers that we see with respect to how much food is imported into the continent, but most importantly, to unleash the potential of smallholder farmers to feed the continent.
Excited about the work that has been done so far. There's still a lot of work ahead. And at this point, I'd like to invite some of our team leads to have a conversation and to answer questions that you have with regards to the project so that we can get even deeper insights about it. So first up, I'd like to invite Adeswa back on stage. Please welcome her as she comes. The next, Dio, please welcome him. Okay, then I will invite, you've seen him on the video, so now we're going to hear from him as well. So please welcome founder and CEO Hello Tractors, our partner, Jahil Oliver. Please come up. Then I have the pleasure of welcoming some of our country directors. I mean, the projects happen in countries, and they have deep insights with regards to how this project has impacted smallholder farmers, how it has created jobs, and the opportunities and possibilities that are available. So first I'll welcome William Matovu, who is country director for Uganda, as well as interim country director for Kenya. Next, I will invite Lekon Tobe, who is interim country director for Nigeria. Please welcome him. And then finally, I have the special pleasure of welcoming Verena Ruzibuka. She is the country director for Rwanda. And even though you didn't see Rwanda on the video, it's exciting because we're taking the project forward, and Rwanda is the next country that we're moving into. So we have a great partner here. If you have any questions, what I will ask you to do is please just go ahead. We have microphones, so please just introduce yourself, the media house you're from, and then go ahead and ask your question. Okay, so who's going to bell the cat? Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Koskei from K24 TV. First off, congratulations. 50,000 is not a small number. And my question is in regards to sustainability of this, and also just to get an overview of the rate of mechanization in Africa and why Kenya as well. We would like to know that, and also the direct, how will smallholder farmers benefit from this, especially now that most of them have not really adopted mechanized forms of farming. Is there any training that will happen right before that? Just an overview of how this project really will impact the smallholder farmers and their adaptability. Thank you.
Thank you. Adesu, and then Jahil. Okay, Jahil first.
Well, thank you for the question, and good morning, everyone. So let's kind of take the questions in order. Kenya still sits at less than 10 tractors per 100 square kilometers of arable land. And that's a fraction of the global average, which is about 200 tractors per 100 square kilometers. So there's a huge gap. As we all know, commercial banks are very hesitant to lend, particularly to agriculture, most especially within smallholder systems. And so these types of projects are not even, it's necessary to have catalytic funding to now crowd in that commercial bank capital. And we've proven that it can happen. Whether it can happen at scale or not remains to be seen as we approach now moving from the initial investment of 104 tractors to now we'll close the year at around 250 tractors. That it can happen. Whether it can happen at scale or not remains to be seen as we approach now moving from the initial investment of 104 tractors to now we'll close the year at around 250 tractors, and our 18-month goal is 1,500 tractors. So we're making good progress in scaling this out, but getting the banks to engage is proven to be challenging. This past year, we did close the largest commercial bank financing across all of agriculture in Kenya with ABSA Bank. That was a and minimal till conservation agricultural practices to build resiliency. As we know, climate change is very real and most acute in this part of the world. And to mitigate the impacts of climate change, adopting these best practices to keep soil moisture, to rebuild the soil profiles. Kenya and the East Africa community has the productivity potential to feed all of Africa and be net exporters of food. A big part of closing that yield gap is adapting to climate change, increasing productivity, and training is a big part of that. And so on the farmer side, we invest a lot in trainings, mostly through our hub networks, but also through our booking agents who do step-down training with the farmers. On the tractor side, we're introducing biofuels, number one. That's another collaboration that we have with Heifer International, along with our tractor manufacturer partners. Biofuels are 29% more profitable than traditional diesel. As we know, the cost of fuel has been escalating in Kenya and across Africa. And in supplementing that with biofuels not only makes tractor ownership more profitable and more accessible to but it also reduces the carbon footprint of the machines. And I sit on the board of an electric tractor company. That technology is coming. It's still relatively new. But hopefully within the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see some electric tractors in the market as well.
Thank you, Jahel. Adesu, and then I think it would be good for Williams to also speak after you, Adesu.
Yeah. So I think to clarify, farmers to understand, then to be able to know, not just because the farmers are not using the tractors, but the farmers are adapting their farming practices also to improve their yield as part of this process. And so that ecosystem, which is all built where they are, supports the farmers to be able to get the service they need. Can you speak to?
Yeah. No doubt that East Africa picture for Africa. And the best way we can do a catch-up is to ensure that we can mechanize. The beauty about this product is that you do not need a farm to own that expensive asset. When I talk to Jahel, he tells me the project was introduced have close to about 30,000 hectares of land being put under cultivation. That is food, and that's contributing towards the country's food security. It's contributing towards the household's food security. It's contributing towards the community's food security. So that's why we think that this is transformative, and it's going to be able to bridge that gap which we're having as a country. Interesting of all, also, when you look at the numbers, we have an aging farmer in this country. The best way you can be able to attract young people is to ensure that you introduce tools of work that can bring about efficiency. And that's why we see that by just deploying one tractor, you're able to create a minimum of about 2 jobs for those young people. And those number of acreage of land that I've talked about under cultivation.
Awesome. Thank you, Williams. Next. Yes, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Thank you. My name is Paul Mbogo from KTN News and KTN Farmers. Jahil, you mentioned about conservation agriculture and the training that is going on, but I couldn't help while watching the video that most of the tractors are using disc plows other than reapers, because plows turn the soil compared to reapers that just deal where you need to sow the seed. So I don't know, maybe the video is...
Well, first of all, Paul, we're not magicians, right? There's an entire journey to change behaviors at the smallholder level, and we've invested aggressively there. A third of our equipment under our pay-as-you-go platform has rippers, right? And I think that's a keen observation. But the vast majority of farmers, 100% of our farmers, prior to the intervention, was doing 3-disc plow. To deploy a third of our equipment with rippers and do it commercially was a first, okay? Is there work to be done to bring 33% to 100%? Absolutely. Do we need a coalition of partners to do that? Absolutely. But we're the biggest buyers of tractors in the market right now. And for those tractors to go into smallholder fields and do what even larger farmers have been unable to do, which is introduce a fraction of conservation agriculture, I think is a Herculean effort and a massive win for the broader industry. But we still got a lot of work to do. And if for anybody who works in agriculture, you know, farmers above anything else are excellent risk managers. So when you tell a farmer, hey, you should adopt rippers, or you should go switch to no-till, that's a 3, 4, 5-year conversation. In North America, that conversation is backed up by tremendous subsidies from the public sector. In our markets, it's just talk. So to get a third of those customers to switch over, to me, was a huge win, but we still got a long ways to go.
Great. Thank you, Jay. Next.
My name is Miriam.
Can we give her another mic? We can't hear her.
My name is Miriam. I write for People Daily newspaper. I wanted some clarification You state that farmer needs not to own a tractor. What is the model currently? And the second question is about financial challenge. Is there any other challenge that you encountered trying to implement this project?
Well, it's tons of challenges. How much time do you have? So the way our business model works, we sell technology to the tractor owner, right? For fleet management, they can remotely monitor and manage their equipment. We put GPS on their tractors. Those tractor owners are then connected to farmers so that as they're comfortable sending their tractor to far off places, they have organized work waiting for them. This work is organized through booking agents who identify smallholder farmers in their community, book those farmers for tractor services in a separate Hello Tractor app. A portion of those booking agents can graduate to become tractor owners through this pay-as-you-go platform, right? You don't need a bank history. You don't need the collateral that a typical bank would require. We would look at the network of farmers that you've accumulated as a community-based booking agent and make an assessment and say, wow, you've done such a great job of organizing farmers. Why not become a tractor owner yourself? Here's the equipment, service the farmers directly. And if you do things like no-till or minimal till or ripping, we'll provide other we got to a third of the fleets running that ripping equipment. And so that's the kind of user journey. In terms of challenges, of course, we have just access to capital. We have issues with FX volatility. We have issues with banks' unwillingness to lend. Climate change is a real issue. It's not a talking point, right? Anybody who thinks they can predict the rains in this market, just come talk to me after the press conference, because that is singularly one of the most difficult things for us, because we need to anticipate when the seasons begin, because the fleets of tractors migrate birds, right? When the season ends in Kisumu, those tractors immediately need to hit the road to go over to Busia. But if the rains are delayed in Busia, once they arrive, they sit parked. And that's unacceptable for us. So that's another big issue. Maybe Adeswa, you want to add?
Well, certainly. I think I also want to add to understanding the model, right? So when we started, the tractors were coming from far away. You understand that farmers have a gap in terms of applying technology and using the mobile phone to order the tractors themselves. So these booking agents came in to accelerate that process of communication with the so that when the tractors come, the tractors can actually plow a large enough plot of land to make it economically viable for them to go to the community. So that's the first thing you have to understand about the business model. The reason why tractors were not penetrating in the first place is for any business to serve them. So the model brought in the booking agents who were very critical, young people. More people to serve rather than just single farmers. Now, agents who were just booking to now be able to own themselves. Now, in the owning of the tractor, the pay-as-you-go simply means that they are not expected to pay as you expect a bank will say every month make a deposit. They were paying based on the income they were generating in the back end of the application. So when the tractors are packed, they don't pay. When the tractors are serviced or are working, now they can pay. And that pay as you go was a sensitive structuring of financing that was mindful of the usage and the income cycle of the owner of that tractor. And that's part of the innovation we're talking about here. And so Why I think it's important is that you're thinking about farmers can't afford tractors, but neither can the community people as well, right? So the structuring of this is what made those tractors affordable. The major challenge really is that there is a reason why tractors were not going to the last mile in the first place. In the last mile, there are no repair stations, there are no spare parts, there are no drivers, there are no technicians. And if we say we want to disrupt with technology in the last mile, in the bottom of the pyramid where these farmers are, we have to address the ecosystem to support it. So the ecosystem support was the next, in my opinion, major challenge and breakthrough we needed to focus on for this model to be sustainable. So right now, Hello Tractors and Heifer have invested in hubs in communities. Hubs where you can go to get education as a farmer about what you should do, get education about better ways to farm, but also get people to fix your tractors, get the tractor spare parts that may be needed, or get tractor technicians. And then also there's a standardized training also for tractor drivers. One of the biggest challenges is that the average tractor in Africa has the shortest lifespan compared to tractors anywhere in the world. A twofold combination, maintenance and driving. The drivers have no clue. The people managing or maintaining are not well trained. So we needed to also address those challenges to ensure that the lifespan of the tractors can also be extended. So these are for me the critical major issues, and I think that they are really important for any innovation that we are hoping to push to the last mile.
Thanks, Adeso. I think it would be great for us to hear from Lekon with regards to your experience in Nigeria with the tractors, with the project, the farmers, tractor owners, etc.
Thank you, Mutala. And good morning, everyone. For Nigeria, I think this initiative by Heifer and in partnership with Tractor is an awesome one. Why is that so? Because two things that it is addressing for us is, one, increased access to tractorization and affordable rate. Affordable because you've heard that you only pay as you go. That is that the owners pay as they use the tractors. That's one. Also know that, and we've taken learnings from other advanced countries of the world in terms of implementing this initiative. That's some of the things that Jai has spoken to. We who are on the ground are also addressing consciously, one of which is climate change in terms of that, because if you ask somebody who is from an advanced country of the world, for us, we're learning from that. For example, in Nigeria, we have almost 98 million hectares of land, arable land. Importer of food, and we want to reverse that because we want to take one of the states in northern Nigeria who reported that because of the intervention, she's also a widow, by the way, because of the intervention, pay-as-you-go tractor financing model, she has transformed into a tractor owner from just a peasant farmer to a booking agent, then to a tractor owner, now to owning a warehouse filled with metric tons of grains. So that's a case, and for every woman and youth, to serve as an example, that's where we want to take everyone to. That's exactly what, and it takes time. Like it said here, it's not a journey of just 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. As it is with all technology adoption, it's going to take time, but we need to be more intentional about it, and that's exactly what we at Heifer and Hello Tractor are doing with this. It is a journey. It is not a destination that we get to overnight, and it's going to get there because, one, we're dealing with heritage way of life for so many years, and now we want to change them overnight. Of course, that will not happen. So it is a gradual process for us, and we will get there. But the thing is that, is the world ready for this transformation to happen? That's the question we need to answer.
It's in question. Thank you, Lekon. So we'll take it back to questions.
I am Samuel Waweru. I work for the Daily Nation. Since Ayute was unveiled. From the video that number two, for how long should a potential tractor owner is required to repay for the tractor?
So 2 questions. The number of tractors, and I think it's about 156 actually, that has been deployed so far. But for the breakdown and the questions, let me hand over to Jehil to give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, tractors break down all the time. I think the point is we put
you know, so 156 tractors.
The breakdown of how many in Kenya, how many in Nigeria, and how many in Uganda.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how many tractors in Nigeria, how many in Uganda, how many in, okay, you all know your answer.
We started with 49 in Nigeria, and now because of the POG passing on the gift, we had the 3 that makes it 52 presently.
Okay, William.
And we currently have about 16 tractors which have been deployed in Uganda, again, because of the POG mechanism. And also using the POG model, we have close to about 129 for Kenya.
And then what we're going to do next in Rwanda?
Sure, thank you. So in Rwanda, we are looking at 45 tractors in 3 years, starting with 15 tractors in the first year.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the loan is set up on a 5-year loan term. The customers pay weekly. We jointly agree to the service schedule. That's what we underwrite. We put covenants or rules in place that say you have to service your schedule and you have to do it on time because, of course, we don't want tractors sitting parked. We want them out in the field servicing the farmers as originally agreed upon. You can always service more than your schedule, but you have to pay a small fee for every acre that you service, and that's paid on Friday. If you don't pay, then it'll take a couple weeks. We'll give some grace, but we do hold our tractor owners accountable because there is that one-to-many relationship. One tractor is servicing 300 or 400 farmers per year. We can't afford for any tractor to underperform. Okay. So that's the payment setup. A portion of the payment goes towards maintenance as well. So about $2, 250 shillings per acre that's collected goes towards maintenance. So every tractor owner can go into a hub and get free maintenance, not free maintenance, but they prepay for their maintenance to keep tractors on the field.
Okay, Adeswa?
Yeah, so because there's a app that tracks the usage of the tractors, right? It's easy to know whether the tractor has plowed and how much it has plowed for that week. And that payment that is required is based on the usage of the tractor and the percentage of what has been used for that week. But I think the other thing that's interesting is what Jehil talked about, which is not only are you extracting payment, but you're also extracting maintenance cost, because we understand the importance of maintenance for the tractors. And so when that maintenance cost is also subtracted, the tractor owners can actually go and get their tractors maintained in the different hubs, you know, and they've already prepaid for that maintenance as well.
Thanks, Adeswa. wrap up, can I ask to speak to job creation, especially for youth, based on this project, and maybe share one or two experiences?
Yes, thanks a lot, Mutula. And I think a lot has been said about job creation. On the average, the tractor creates about 4 different job categories, okay? And the innovation that comes with the process also in terms of how we are leveraging innovative financing, which is very different from the traditional model of financing coming from the commercial banks, I think has been very helpful. The fact that tractor owners don't need to have a financial history, the fact that their psychographics and their behavioral traits are essentially leveraged. The ability to crowd in bookings from contiguous lands, like was mentioned. All this information and data is leveraged to create jobs. I think that's a landmark achievement. And for us, we are proud when we see tractor owners with fleets of tractors. I think we have entrepreneurs with more than 2-3 tractors on this platform. So the multiplied impact of that as we go into the future, I think, is one that we are very keen about. And also going into the future, for us, we are excited how we are innovating through the journey. We talked about the hubs. As we are moving further, we are leveraging a non-fossilized fuel to drive tractor delivery, tractor supply, and all of that, caring for the earth, and also keeping a finger on our carbon footprint. So I think it's a lot of great work going on, and yeah, exciting times ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dio. Follow-up question. Okay, that will have to be the final one. Okay, please go ahead.
Question to the head of tractor CFO. From your observation, who are the majority willing buyers in port? Bearing in mind that Mechanization for Africa initiative is one of the approaches to try, attract the youths to come on board to spur the growth of the agricultural sector.
Sorry, who are the what? You mean the owners of the tractors?
The people who are buying the tractors, right?
Buyers.
Of the tractors?
So is it the young? Is it women? Is it men?
So the portfolio of tractor owners that we have now, who are the majority in that portfolio?
I think I can respond to. In Nigeria, it is mostly youth and women, and by definition of youth, they are up to maybe 30 years, 35 years, and in particular cases, Peace, who owns a tractor at 17, Peace is a young lady, just finished secondary school, and she owns a tractor. She's in the university now, but the tractor is the one that is paying her fees, to go to school. We have women, like the case that I mentioned earlier on, who are owning tractors now because of this program. Hitherto they would not have been able to own maybe a wheel of a tractor, not to talk about the tractor itself. That is happening now. Of course, that is because of direct targeting, of the program for youth and women to be more engaged in agriculture. That's why we have that. Otherwise, the other guys would have hijacked it, maybe older people.
Williams, do you want to speak to Kenya and Uganda?
Yes. Yeah. So when you look at the data, in fact, when you go through the report, which we've just launched, it even gives very interesting statistics and numbers. So close to about 30% of the tractor owners in Kenya are female. So that's quite a change in terms of dynamics of ownership of assets for production. Okay? For me, in fact, when you dig further into that report, it indicates that 59% of the tractor users, the farmers, were able to book by themselves, which also indicates dynamics in terms of technological penetration in the production, value chain within the areas where we work. So for me, the dynamics in terms of what this product is bringing within the ecosystem is quite interesting. Of course, we still have that gap whereby how do we ensure that women owns more of those production assets, but considering the dynamics in terms of how this product is changing the ecosystem, for me, the future is quite bright.
And can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
Talent is evenly distributed. I think we should all agree with that. Opportunity is not, okay? I think the defining characteristic, I think the reports are important to put numerical values on how many people are youth and what's the average age and women and, you know, gender and all that. But ambition is the defining characteristic. And when you break away bias, what you see is there's a massive untapped market of young people, of women who don't get a shot. They're pushed to the margins of the economy. And when you do smart underwriting without bias, what you realize is, without saying, I'm going to finance women, if you're not sexist, you will finance women. Why? Because women do most of the farming in this market. Women are some of the most ambitious but underfunded constituents in this market. So if you remove your own personal bias, you will naturally go into these places. And I think what we've tried to do with this product is identify where this talent exists, where this ambition exists. And what naturally comes out in the numbers is an overwhelming bias towards marginalized folks who didn't get a shot before, who are outperforming those who can walk into a bank today and get a loan. Our non-performing loans, our non-performing loans are at 2% right now, 2%. Go into your favorite bank and ask them what their agricultural portfolio non-performing loans are. That's a mic drop. Okay?
Absolutely. Lekon,
okay.
As we wrap up.
I think we need to expand on that because there's the ripple effect of owning a tractor even in the communities, one of which is through the booking agent, the technicians. They are all youths. Most of the booking agents are youth. Most of the tractor technicians are youth. Most of the tractor operators are youth. But beyond that also is what does this tractorization do in the ecosystems and communities? One is that it frees up the time of women and children to engage in other productive activities at the community level, at the household level. One of which is that children are able to go to school more, you know, and you know that over time what the ripple effect of that on the economy is going to be. So that's exactly what this is doing. The women are more able to contribute financially to the economy of their households through this because they free up time. The time that they would have spent cultivating land, planting seeds, and weeding the farm is now used in income-generating activities at their household level. You know, and of course, more youths there will always be ripple effects, other businesses that will be generated because of tractor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So can I just have Adesua say final words before we go ahead to actually launch the report?
So I just want to say that I think the team has said it all, honestly. What struck me was Jahil's comment on the natural bias. I think what I would always remember are the women that I met in the community at the hubs who, with tears in their eyes, were saying that they could not believe that they could have this opportunity, and how they seized the opportunity, and how they are not only repaying, but they are building now a business and are looking forward to an ambition to not just own one tractor, but to own multiple tractors. I think what also I think is critical is what Lekon also said. Over and beyond just putting tractors, we must understand how farmers got their plots plowed in the past. Their household, their children, you know, people are pulled from school. Women are out there getting that farms plowed. That the impact of them not being there and being able to be elsewhere is even more significant if we think about it in the long term. So what we're talking about is beyond just the economic benefits to the families and to the household. We're talking about the unseen benefits
to how the society will begin to develop and how access to education and women's access to other opportunities can also grow. So it's exciting to see the beginning, and we want to also say that this report was put together 3 years into the project. There are much more impact that we're seeing today. We did not get a chance to hear about what we're planning to do in Rwanda. That will be another big launch on its own at some point in time. But I do believe that when we get back here in another 3 years, some of these unseen benefits that we're talking about will have more stories for them. So thank you all very much for being here and being part of our journey. And we look forward to more opportunities to continue to go on this walk with you and to tell our story. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panelists. Can we now rise and take a picture with the reports as a sign of the report launch. Patrick, can I invite you to please join the team on stage for this photo moment? Thank you. Yeah, should bring it in. Do you have one for Patrick?
Interesting, yes? Interesting, yes?
Thank you very much. I'll invite William to just give the vote closing remarks as we wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Omotora. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen from the press, our Senior Vice President for the Africa Area Program, Jarel, the promoter for the Hello Tractor product. So we thank you very much for gracing this occasion this morning. I think the team did a wonderful job in terms of really with the journey projects will be able to cause transformation across the African continent. It's sure that the only way we can transform our continent by ensuring that we can be able to introduce technology. I think that has been ably pitched here by the panel. So we look up to you to be the cadres who are going to be assisting us to be able to promote this product, because we need it. If Africa is going to transform, we need a leap jump. And the best way we can make this leap is by ensuring that we introduce such innovative products. So once again, thank you very much appreciate. And we look forward to hosting you another time, like the Senior Vice President has indicated, when we're again sharing much more impact we've been able to create using this product. Thank you very much.
up